anywhere before. Couldn't look you in the eye.
Remember, there's 5 of us, John.
It's so many buttons.
It's
so many buttons. Hey, everybody. Welcome to First Dibs.
Hey.
I'm John. This is Justin. We're live on YouTube, and we're recording for all the podcast stuff.
That's right.
From our classic showroom here at Porsche Colorado Springs. We might have some new watchers and listeners today because the Pike Peak Singer just went up live on Bring a Trailer, so we'll get back to that. But we've got Billy back. He is here for his second time, and then Andrew and Marcus from our service team.
That's right.
Joining us. You got to put the microphone up to your face.
Andrew, have you been with us before?
Got to hold it like this.
Oh, okay.
First time.
Okay. All right. All right.
It's a learning process, right? But you guys look great on camera. Good job. Everybody's man spreading a little bit. That's okay. That's all right. Hey, it's your prerogative. You do you.
Okay.
Gotta
look formal. I mean,
yeah. So we kind of got ambushed as we were trying to go live with the singer popping up. And it went nuts. Yeah. Pretty darn quick.
Yeah, it went crazy pretty quick.
So that's pretty... Oh, it went up again.
So I usually would be notified when the car goes live. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Right? I just got an email that said a bid has been placed on your 1990 Porsche.
It was a good
Singer.
bid, too.
Yeah. No, started off right. And I thought, what? Right? Kind of, put your head in a spin for a minute, go log in real quick, and sure enough, there it is. So it ends, what is it? Next Thursday.
We got 14 days.
14 days.
So it ends on February 2nd.
That's right. At about 11 in the afternoon, I think is what it says.
Sure.
Roughly. So that's a good time. That's a really good time. But anyway, bidding is already off, and some great comments. And I was able to put a comment in there as an introduction. But yeah, no, you're right. It kind of just landed all of a sudden, which caused some.
Hey, but we're here. That's the whole point. We're here. We're available. Those of you that are finding us from the Bring a Trailer listing, you can comment. We'll try to watch that live and answer some questions. A little later, maybe we can take a camera over and show you the car live.
Right.
We've been trying to do that kind of stuff. Happy Friday to everybody. Hardly 23 says you guys are very pretty. So anyway,
that's good.
Anyway, I think let's hold off on other new cars.
Okay.
And we can save those for next week.
Yep.
And we'll just kind of focus on these guys a little bit. We talked a little bit about Billy's story, I think, last time he was here.
Right.
But he just got to kind of revisit home.
Well, super quick. Like, for everybody listening and watching, we've been trying to put Marcus and Andrew on the show. When did... months?
Yeah.
Back in November,
about a year.
Yeah.
They've been bumped for better guests. Like
They
us.
weren't bumped, but it's these guys' schedule, right? The way that everything works out. So in order to put all of us in the same room for an hour is really difficult. It's really difficult. So hopefully the people that are watching live will have some questions and things for us. But anyway, so I'm super excited. Thank you guys for joining us for the show. Thank you for billing. I know this was a somewhat last minute after your trip to Texas, which looking forward to hearing about. But anyway, so real quick to get that away, thank you so much for coming.
Of course. Thank you.
But to John's point, Billy, I'm super excited for Billy to share his story. He just took a trip down to Texas, where you're from, and Billy's from kind of small town Texas.
Real small.
Your graduating class was
26
people. That's awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's a little bitty compared to hearing
Mm-hmm.
other kids graduating with hundreds.
Right, yeah. And just to give a real quick backstory, Billy came up to me and asked if he would be able to borrow a car and take it to his high school down in Texas for a kind of a career fair, type thing.
He won't let me take one to lunch.
No.
It's true.
Have you seen John's personal car?
That wasn't me.
I did see the Band-Aid on the front.
Right, yeah. But Billy had this pretty, it was an interesting story why he was going in the first place. And then so when he came back, just said, hey, how did everything go? And then Billy explained it. It was actually quite inspirational. So would you be willing to share that on the show? And he said, absolutely. I would really love to. So if you can kind of start from the beginning, if you don't mind. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but Billy, tell us where you went, why did you go, and how did it all happen? I mean, I guess, how did it all go?
Yeah, so in high school, leading up to, I'd say, senior year, straight A student, really good. I was planning on going to college. It was about right before senior year that I decided I was tired of sitting in a classroom. I was done. I just wanted to go make some money. So at that point, I started kind of looking at what would I do, right? My dad was an electrician, so I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I really want to do that either, but I could learn something from him. And then I was like, oh, cars are cool, right? I mean, sounds like something interesting. And so I went and visited my counselor about it. And that's when she told me, she didn't have really time to talk to me about that because she was, if I wanted to go to college, come talk to her. But other than that, she really didn't want to visit about it. So the more I get to looking into it, I found UTI down in Houston, kind of started signing up. And then I realized, I was like, well, there's scholarship opportunities here too. And all my teachers, senior year, all the teachers are kind of helping you start writing essays and stuff, getting prepared for applying for scholarships. So that's when I went back to my counselor because all the teachers were like, yeah, your counselor will help you apply for scholarships, all that. Like, that's her job. Mm-hmm. And I went back and talked to her, and she was like, no, I don't have time for this. If you're not going to college, she was like, go back. You're going to have to deal with that on your own, which was really like, it sucked. Because I saw all these other kids getting, helping. She would read over the essays, and that was her job, is to kind of promote that. And she didn't want to have anything to do with me. Well, fast forward, I went to UTI, got accepted in the Porsche program, ended up here. Well, about a month ago, 2 months ago, I get a call from the district attorney there in my small town. Me and him are really good friends. He's on the school board. And he's saying that, hey, we're putting together this career fair. Would you like to come down to speak to your alma mater? And I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. He was like, fun fact, your counselor, actually, there's another kid that's interested in cars, and he went and talked to her, and she said the same thing to him. I don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. If you're not going to college, don't come talk to me. Mm-hmm. And that just lit me off. I was like, oh, we're going back.
Right.
And we're going back like blazing. Like, I was so angry just to hear, like, it sucked for me, but to hear her keep doing it to other people, like, it's so upsetting. So, yeah, I borrowed a car from the dealership here, a 2017 911 GTS, manual transmission, super fun car, center locks, blacked out, and took that all the way down to Texas and showed up to the high school. And all the teachers immediately were just like, oh my gosh, like, I need to take a ride. I need to come see this thing. This thing is awesome, right? Get inside. There's a bunch of, different careers there. There's people there from, Army and game wardens and a bunch of farmers, obviously. Mm-hmm. Tons of farming stuff because it's a small town. And there I am, and they had a bunch of, some of the other booths had banners and stuff like that, and I didn't really know what to take. So I'm just sitting there, and they did it kind of like a speed dating, right? So it's 7th through seniors, and the school's grown a little bit since I've been back. Now they're up to probably like 36, 40 kids in a class. Mm-hmm. But you're going through 7th through seniors, and I was just like, you get 3 minutes with 5 people in front of you, and then they switch. And they switch every 3 minutes. Okay. So I'm just sitting here talking to these people, and I'm talking. I'm just like, I don't even know what I told the last group versus you. But afterwards, they let the juniors and seniors stick around. And they could come back, right? And afterwards, I had probably 10 to 15 kids surrounding me. No other booth had anybody. They just wanted to talk to me about this. Wow. And I had some pamphlets and stuff for, Porsche and PTAP, and there was a pamphlet that I found that Porsche had with what it takes to become a Porsche technician. Mm-hmm. So I was handing that kind of stuff out, and they were all just sitting there talking to me. And the biggest spill that I was giving during that was, doesn't matter if they were interested in cars or not, depending on the group, because there would be times I'd get a group of 5 people. College is not for everyone. But find something you love and just focus on that. Whether it is college, that's great. Whether it's not, just focus on what you want to do. And for another reason, don't let anybody tell you that is the bad choice, right? But it was funny because the whole time I'm sitting here talking to these kids, my counselor is right next to my booth the entire time. And every single time that I would say, college isn't for everyone, I've been very successful without going to college. Just kind of turn and look at her.
Right.
And she'd be staring right at me. And I'd give, I was just kind of looking at her, and it was just like I was just trying to get those hits in without,
Right.
She asked me how I was, and all I told her was very successful. And
Right.
kept on my way.
Right.
I didn't want to talk to her. It was
Sure. Yeah.
too
No,
upset
absolutely.
about the whole situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I love the story because I think
too.
it takes a lot of guts to actually just do that, just be a presenter in the first place. I got to do something kind of similar to that when I was a technician, but not to the extent of what you did. And Bill, I think what I told you was that this is going to pay you back in very big ways, right, in the future. You just don't know that yet. But you impacted a lot of people's lives, by going down there and explaining and giving them proof in the pudding. You're not just someone there representing a school or whatever. It's, I am Billy. This is what I do. And you didn't even bring up the car. It was other people that mentioned the car that you were driving.
Yeah, and my coach came up to me while I had these, 10 to 15 kids surrounding me, and he was like, you kids want to see a car? And they were like, what? There's one here? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, yeah, let's go look at it. Took it outside, started it up, revved it for them, heard all the pops. And the kids are just like flabbergasted.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They're just like, I've never seen anything like this ever.
Right, yeah.
And neither had I whenever I was there. I'd never seen a Porsche before.
Right.
I knew of them.
Yeah.
Liked them.
Yeah.
But these kids, they were just like, you can sit here and talk to them about it, and then they go see it, and their mood just completely changes.
Right.
And by the end of it, there was like 30 kids out there just wanting to look at the car
Right.
and look at everything, and they're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And so at this point in your life, so you've achieved a lot. You're a homeowner. You have your own Porsche car, right, that you drive daily. You're kind of our front runner when it comes to technicians as far as the amount of work, the volume that comes through the store, and all at the age of
24.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Quit counting after a while. 21 and quit counting.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's really good. So anyway, thank you so much for everything that you do for us.
Oh, of course.
And appreciate you sharing
Absolutely
your story.
love it here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I like it.
Yep. Good
Yep,
story.
Yep, absolutely.
Andrew,
we should do it often.
when was your first kind of introduction to Porsche?
I would say my introduction to Porsche wasn't until I graduated UTI. So I graduated and I was already working at a Lexus dealership, doing okay. I was a technician already and stuff like that right out of UTI. And I didn't hear about the PTAP program until after I graduated. The rep for all the MSAT programs for manufacturer training reached out to me and said, hey, you qualify for all of them. Do you want to apply for any of them? And she listed them all off, and obviously Porsche was one of them. So she said, you can apply for whatever ones you want. So I applied for Porsche, Ford, Mercedes, a couple others just to see what I got. And then Porsche kicked back, and I sat down with Chris Lum for a video Zoom interview for a couple times and stuff like that. And then was accepted into PTAP and left 3 weeks later from Texas to Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So did you know Porsche cars before that much, or was that like not even working on them, but just, was that a brand you loved from car magazines or history or anything like that? Or did it just kind of spark when you were going to start working on them?
So obviously, any Porsche car is just interesting by the nature of what it is. So, anyone who likes cars knows that, the 911 is kind of the top dog when it comes to, the sports car. It's kind of the car to pick. So it's always, a brand that's always very enticing. But, the only Porsche I'd ever been in at that point was a Panamera GTS. It was a 2015, I think, that one of the general managers at the dealership that I had owned, and he would bring it in for car washes, and I would drive it back to the wash bay and wash it and pull it back up. But other than that, I had no experience with them, never driven one other than that one, and that was about it.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, and then so Andrew here, we were talking about this just so you started here as a technician. Was this your first Porsche technician job?
Yes. it
Okay, so
was.
you're straight
Yeah.
out of PTAB.
Yeah, straight out of
coming
PTAB.
here. And then Andrew found greener grass in Texas.
Yeah.
That was very short lived.
It was.
And you wound up coming back. And then, but not as a technician. It was because I think before you left, you had already become a service advisor. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so you left to Texas. You came back shortly thereafter, and worked with Ricky in our parts department
I did. Yeah.
for a while.
For about almost 2 years, I think.
yeah.
2
Yeah.
years. Close to 2 years.
And then Julio, our service manager, was able to snake you back
Mm-hmm.
from Ricky and put you back on our service drive with Marcus.
I
And-
just begged too much.
right. Yeah, which has been an amazing fit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Billy. So having sat right in
Mm-hmm.
each one of your seats for a while, I know how amazing it is as a technician when you have a service advisor that actually understands what you're doing. Talking
Yeah.
about working on. But then the flip side, right? Service advisors knowing how to work with and speak with technicians and understand what Billy's daily life, is like. It creates this kind of interesting harmony, strong bond. I talk about it once in a while. There's a language, and no matter what field that you work in, you could be an engineer, you could be a rocket scientist, you could be a garbage person, like garbage man, or you can be technicians, service advisor. There's a language that's spoken in your place, in your field of business. And when you have people that speak the same language, but they're doing those kind of different tasks every day, it goes very far. And our clientele, they get that, right? They pick up on all that kind of stuff. So you guys are constantly ranked in the top 5, right? As far as Porsche service centers, right, in North America. That's crazy. Getting there once, you work hard, right? But being able to maintain that, for the last 15 years or however long it's been, that's crazy.
Yeah, Marcus, how long have you been here?
8 years.
So you're half of that.
Yeah.
Good.
22 years in the business, though.
That's amazing. In
Yeah.
the car business, yeah.
How long for Porsche?
16,
Yeah.
16.
17.
Where were
So-
you before that?
With Justin at Stevenson.
The Toyota?
No. Stevenson Imports.
Well, I don't know.
So started there in
Yeah.
2003.
Okay. And did they not have Porsche yet?
They did. Porsche Jaguar. Yeah. No,
But they didn't let you touch them?
I got to touch them. Scared myself.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You shouldn't have said that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus,
Tell
yeah.
us the story.
Yep.
Heard this one.
Was the 03 GT2 Euro spec. Almost went into a wall.
You were in the passenger seat.
No.
And that was just pulling it around.
That was just pulling around. I blipped it and it shot sideways.
I remember
And
the
then
day.
About a foot from the wall.
Yeah, I remember.
I came back and said, I'm never driving this car again.
Yeah.
It scares the living.
Yeah, there was a wall of a building and then a fence and just a 1.5 lane road between the two. Anyway, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the client, right? Like he's waiting for his car to come up. He's kind of a funny, interesting dude. And anyway, Marcus comes walking into the service drive. He had gone the other way, to get the car and bring it around. And so when he comes walking up, like, oh, and as a service person, like, oh my God, did it not start? What's happening? And Marcus says, hey, I need you to go get that car. So yeah, he spun, 90 degrees or whatever and wound up, between the wall and the fence, didn't hit anything or whatever, but he's like, I'm not. I can't, I'm not driving that car.
That's my Eleanor. Don't want to.
Yep. Fair enough.
It's like
Yeah.
it came back to him too when we had that yellow 996 GT2 Club Sport,
Oh,
and
sure.
I did the MPI on it, and Marcus walks back there and he sees the car and he's like, "Be careful driving this."
Right.
And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I almost died in one."
That scared me.
Tires were different back then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No traction, nothing like that. So.
No, Marcus has stories for days. And Marcus worked with Joe Brenner, our GM.
I've been with him 22 years.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah.
When he was a finance manager at Volkswagen. So
At a different dealer.
I've seen him grow.
Right. Right. But yeah, no, Marcus and I actually worked together at the other store up in Denver it was a long time. I want to say somewhere around 12 years. Like he and I worked together.
2003, and I left in 2015.
Okay. Yeah. And then Marcus. So Marcus was kind of like my current day John Dicey, where Marcus would take all the time off.
I still do.
Right. And it may have been,
Shocker.
it may have been like actual vacation days or whatever, or it was just even lunches. Marcus left, for lunch, and to find out most days he would just go take a nap. in his car.
That still happens.
Yeah, Marcus loves it.
20-minute naps every day.
He has to
Yeah.
have his
I
nap.
make sure to
leave it.
call him when I know he's taking a nap. Somehow I always get it just right.
Right. Yeah. So when I transitioned from the service drive into a sales position, Marcus was really both upset and nervous. And
I had big shoes to fill.
it was kind of funny because I had said like, no way, man. It's like, no, like you're the guy. And Marcus, I don't want to be the guy. I like taking my naps in the afternoon. I like being able to take a day off. Like, well, sorry, that's not going to happen. But anyway, so look at what Marcus has become, right?
the guy again.
Yeah,
Yes.
more gray hair.
And bald.
Yeah, that's not work. That's family.
Yeah, no, mixture, medicines,
It's
stuff
both.
like that. It's all good.
Yeah, but I guess what's really cool is that the people that's sitting here. Billy, you're kind of the newest one to the group in a sense, but to see everybody here grow, and we're all. Well, I'm not as young as you guys are, but all of us are still growing and continuing,
about the
like kind of this common core group of people, for the people watching and listening, for their clientele, that's kind of comfort, because as like a good financial person would tell you, I need to grow with you. And so we get to kind of do all of this together. And I think that's pretty amazing, so hopefully I'll be retired in like 20 years, but all the way up into that retirement point, hopefully all of us can sit down, and do the same kind of thing, in 20 years from now, and all of our clients, and we've just gained more, and all of those bonds and relationships are just that much stronger and better. So this is cool. I think this is really fun to be part of. So anyway, enough sobbiness.
Yeah.
What's some fun things?
I think we should probably go show the singer soon. But as we're kind of building up to that, we were talking earlier, the car and driver just got to drive the new Cayenne
Oh, sure.
prototypes, I guess, for the model year 24 stuff.
Still camouflaged and
Yeah, I think I'm curious to see what comes from that. I'd also like to touch on kind of our predictions for the ST again. We think that's coming. Spike's Car Radio talked about it a little bit, and I don't think they're exactly right, but we'll see. Nobody knows anything yet. But on the Cayenne front, I'm pretty excited for that thing. The dash is going to be updated to be more Taycan-like, I guess. So maybe getting rid of the analog tack. I don't know how I feel about that.
that'll be
Probably the
interesting.
same as when it went to that new tack.
Yeah,
It's different.
yeah, but I'm sure it'll be cool. Bigger wheels and tires, so
tires.
bigger rolling area. And I think that's something that really kind of sets Porsche apart to me, is just the stance of them. Is, you look at a Ford Explorer ST, right, and the tires just look tiny. And then you look at even, a standard Cayenne, and it's got these just steamrollers on it. So I like the fact that they're kind of going to that again and taking that up a notch. More contact patch, better handling, or at least better grip. So that'll be pretty cool. New motors.
The return of the V8 to the S.
Yeah,
Right.
that'll be really cool. So
Yeah.
kind of, I think, taking a page out of Macan. The Macan GTS motor went into the Macan S. I think kind of something similar is what I'm reading through the lines on the new Cayennes. Probably the GTS V8 will now be the motor in the Cayenne S. So that'll be
That's pretty
sweet.
amazing.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. Turbocharged and all that. Hybrids are getting bigger battery and bigger electric motors.
Right.
And then maybe a smaller gas motor because they won't need it because they'll have the bigger electric. So that'll be pretty cool. We love ours. And it's got, call it 30 miles in range. And I think they're talking about going from like 17 to 25 kilowatts. So maybe we get
wow.
up to 40, 45 miles in
Right.
range. That'd be pretty sweet. So
That's a long way.
yeah,
That is a really long
Yeah.
way.
that's like halfway to work for you.
It's closer than
Yeah.
It's more than halfway. Yeah, my commute driveway to door is 57 miles, like almost 57.0.
So I bet you could make it
I bet I could because especially on the way here because a lot of it is downhill.
downhill. Mm-hmm.
There's only one big climb, to Monument, and then even from there it's downhill.
Yep.
But even with the cars, like my Cayenne hybrid, would have like a 16 to 18 mile range, but I would constantly get 25, 30 miles before the gas engine would come on just because of kind of that commute, if you will. I mean, I had to somewhat try for that in a couple areas, but, I think that just makes you smarter, and just pay attention more, to what's going on. So if it would have 45 miles, just say like on a flat in Texas, if you can cruise 45 miles here in Colorado,
like 10 towns.
Yeah. Here in Colorado, that can get you a long way.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've been loving it.
impressive.
So, and I think ours is 135 horsepower, kicking up to 175, which is what Car and Driver was quoting. That'd be good. Just enough. I mean, it'll still do 80, but it just takes some time. So a little more punch for the electric stuff would be pretty cool. So yeah, that's that one. ST. What do you guys think? Do you know anything about the ST?
Do not.
Honestly.
No, I really don't know anything
Really?
about it.
No.
I just work on them, dude.
All right. Well, the ST is going to be the new 911R.
Okay.
So it's the 911R for the 992 platform.
So, I mean, how would it differentiate from the GT3 Touring then?
That's what we got to figure out.
Okay. So what are they going to do that's going to change it?
So initially, my thought was it like the R was actually more like a GT3 RS touring
Yes.
when it came out, right? So that was kind of my thought, is it would get maybe the center mount radiator and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
Looking at some of the spy shots, it's still got the dual nostrils up front, so I don't think I'm right on that front. But it does have what looks like the carbon fiber front fenders. So I think it's a lightweight Heritage Edition GT3 Touring. So I think they pull some extra weight out of it, but it's still a GT3 Touring.
Is it going to be naturally aspirated?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still the same 4-liter. Probably the same power.
Will it get the full carbon doors and everything?
I think so,
the
like the
GT3
RS. Yeah, that's my thought. Yep.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, I feel like that might be more of a friendly car. I watched a video the other day where they were comparing the new GT3 RS versus the new GT4 RS on a track. They were test driving them, and they said that the GT3 RS, although an amazing car, it is so track focused that they feel like that's the only time to really enjoy it, which any of our RSs are that way, right? Drive them on the street, they're okay. Drive them on a track, they're amazing.
Right.
So a RS, but in a more street focused version.
Yeah. I don't have enough time in ours to really comment, but the overarching, I think, premise of that car is it was designed to be fun, not to be just a track weapon. And I think if they do the same thing for the ST, that seems like, I mean, they'll all sell, right? That's kind of a given at this point, but I think you're exactly right. It's more of the street friendly RS product.
Is it a limited car, numbered car?
I would bet yes.
Yeah.
So we have the Sport Classic.
Yep, 1250.
Out and about.
Sweet.
So Sport Classic, or now granted, we don't know anything truly about the ST, but hypothetically, let's say that it's, what your grounds are, Sport Classic or ST. What's more desirable?
ST's more desirable, but I think I would take a Sport Classic because it has back seats.
Okay.
And I think
Honestly, go drive them both. I would probably be more happy with the Sport Classic. I've PD'd a couple of those and taken them on test drives, and that is one of the most fun cars I think I've ever been behind the wheel of.
In the Sport
all-
Classic.
The Sport Classic, with all that power, the short throw shifter, the rear wheel drive, it drives amazing. It is one of the most fun cars to drive. And then I think the good thing about that car and what really makes it so much fun is you get that amazing driving experience without the roughness of an RS. You drive an RS, you're in an RS, right? It's bumpy, it's stiff, but you don't get that in the Sport Classic.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing driving experience, but comfortable.
On that side of things, so this is just kind of a question that comes up from time to time anyway, and this is we have the GT3 RS, the 3.8 liter that's sitting behind us here, and then we have we service 4 liters, right, that come in for service. I mean, they're both 2011s. One's 3.8, one's a 4 liter. Which one do you? I mean, let's take out.
Do you want 3 of these or one of those?
No, take out the price point.
Take out the price.
Yeah, take out the price. Take out like the collectible, side of it, the drivability aspect. Where do you go with?
I think the 4-liter sounds better.
It's
I think there's a sound difference there, and it's deeper, throatier. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I don't know if I could tell a difference. Personally.
Yeah. I
think that's what Chris Harris says.
Yeah.
His
I don't
thought
know,
is the 3.8 because he doesn't need the extra.
Right. I don't know. I think the 4-liter both cars, they don't want to kill you, but they want to kick your ass, right? Like both of them do. But I think you get more of that feel with the 4-liter, where you just know, because of the sound, there's just some grunt. Like there's just something else about the 4-liter that it has, where you can tell, like if they were debadged and they were exactly, I mean, if they were identical twins, if you got in the 4-liter, right, and the 3.8, you would pick up a difference right away. Right away.
I feel that that generation of RS is my favorite anyways because of the rawness that comes with it. Right, the clutch is hard to push in. The gear shifter is you gotta put some force into it, and it's still the narrow body cars that we used to make, and everything about a 997 GT3 RS is extremely fun. And
I was describing as they make you drive like a jackass.
Yep.
Because you have to. However, what's the difference in that car driving like a jackass versus driving in today's GT3 like a jackass? In that car, you actually get thumbs up because it looks like you're supposed to be doing that. And if you don't pull up behind someone doing 50 miles an hour, and you just hear the downshifts just coming like mad, you're like, what are you doing? So when you drive like a jackass in that car, you have more people rooting for you.
You get more thumbs up than a finger. So
right. Yeah, exactly. Andrew, while we're sitting here talking about driving like a jackass, I've seen
how you drive.
Oh no,
you've had a lot of cars in the past. I remember one was a Nissan 350Z that you were turning into a drift car.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Lasted like 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, it didn't last very long. I forget what I traded that car for, but
Tundra.
Yeah, I had the Tundra. So I had posted that car on Facebook Marketplace and was just trying to get rid of it just because it didn't seem like the best Colorado car. I wanted to do the whole drift thing again like I did in high school and trade school, but it just didn't work out. So I posted on Facebook Marketplace, and then the manager of a dealership in town actually bought it and paid cash for it when I showed up at the dealership.
Wow.
And bought it from me for his son, basically exactly what his son wanted, what he wanted to do with it in high school, and, bought it cash from me, and then I went and bought the Tundra that I had for a while. So it got cut short, which I wish it kind of hadn't now, because I would love to be doing that still, but it's probably for the best.
Yeah, I bet that kid wrecked that car in the first 2 weeks.
I'm sure. Yeah, that was an irresponsible car.
That's a lot of car for a first car.
That was my first car.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
350Z was the first car that I bought when I was 16.
That's pretty good.
It didn't last very long.
Yeah.
Right.
I had 3 of them after that as well. So I've had quite a few of those.
Well, and Andrew went over to, I don't think Billy, but pretty much every technician in our shop owns at least a car with a tent on top of it.
Yes, or at one point in time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't have a tent.
I skipped right around the phase that they're going through.
Yeah, I would come in, on a Saturday, and everybody's all the technicians are working on their own cars, right, on nothing else. And I remember walking into our shop in the new car building. Every single employee car inside had a tent on it, and one of them was a Subaru Outback or something.
Oh, that was Mike McGowan.
Is that a
right.
Forester?
That's right.
Or
Yeah,
is
it was a Forester
It's a
that he
Forester.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he start that? I feel like he was the first one with the tent.
Todd.
It was a mixture between him and Todd that started it.
Probably Mike, though.
But Todd's bought 3 of the tents that I've owned because I've probably bought 3 new that I've ended up selling to him. But yeah, I think Todd and Mike really pioneered that. They used them all the time, and I think Todd
I was
still does.
always amazed at how far Mike got in that thing.
I went camping with him quite a few times, and the places that he would take the Forester, I was always a little surprised.
Yeah.
'Cause I always had like lifted Forerunners, and I had a lifted GX and stuff like that, and it was never a challenge for my vehicle that I had. But where he would take the Forester certainly required speed and precision driving. Yeah, use of skid plates for sure.
Wild.
Yeah,
That's
But-
awesome.
he refused to get rid of it. Eventually, he bought a Forerunner, but he was very convinced that that was the platform he wanted.
That guy was a nut. He
He's
probably
he's
still is.
He's a goofy
Yeah,
guy,
he
but
is. I like him,
he's
though.
a good guy.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
a good-
Mike
cute
is a
dude.
great guy.
He came up in conversation in the break room, I think yesterday. I'm not kidding, yesterday. So Mike is vegan. I'm
Yep.
sure he still is.
Oh, I would assume so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
He was pretty tied to it. So
Yes,
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
much.
Yeah.
Mike vegan, and we did. So we do Saturday lunches, and when Mike was here, we were doing Saturday lunches for the techs, for service that was working here. And someone points out saying like, well, Mike always brings his own lunch every Saturday. We should ask him, hey, what do you want to do for lunch?
Yeah.
Just be part of the group, And so he's like, oh, really? Oh, that's awesome, right? So he picked it out. That was the last time we let
That was pupusas. Those were delicious.
pupusas are
Pupusas?
amazing.
They were really good. Travis just complained too much, and then the next 3 weeks we got Alfonso's. It just hurts my guts.
Gut rot.
Yeah.
Alfonso's.
I
The
can't
most
do it.
Non-vegan
Oh,
thing.
good. What are you
on
talking
this.
No, I can't do it.
Oh man.
place is hit or miss.
Yeah.
Most time miss.
I love Mike because he seems like a pacifist, but he does like John Wick assault rifle training. It's like he's just 2 completely different people in the same body.
And he's still in the Porsche world.
No.
Oh, he left?
Yeah, he's actually
He's doing like
out.
4x4 stuff, right?
Yeah, I think
Oh.
Mike is out now.
Oh, wow.
If I'm not mistaken.
That's got to be pretty recent.
He'll be
though.
back.
Yeah.
I'm about to say he was a parts manager, right?
That's what
Well,
I saw.
he was
Yeah.
a parts specialist at one of the dealers in the Northwest for a little bit. And because I would,
Beaverton? Porsche Beaverton?
yeah, I think,
think
so.
so.
He was in Washington.
Yeah, because I would touch base with him every once in a while because we were both parts guys for a while, and he always wanted the hill climb jackets and stuff like that we would do, so I would send them to him and stuff like that. But yeah, as far as I know, I think he's out
Okay.
doing something different now. But
Yeah. No, he was good.
he was probably the best part specialist ever because he's incredibly thorough,
Right.
Very thorough.
very analytical, and very precise with what he does. So
Water?
yeah, water.
Water?
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's good.
Should we go show the singer a little bit?
I think we should. So I'm gonna grab a camera,
Okay.
and then hopefully it just works.
Yeah, it'll be fine. The camera will be fine. Take
You're-
mine so these guys can stay on camera.
So you're gonna have to describe what I'm looking at.
Yeah, we'll try
So
that.
let me grab a key to it real quick,
Okay.
so I can open it up. So
Yep,
so
okay.
turn my stuff off. So
All right. So here we'll. Should I bring up the listing real quick for us to look over? All right. So this is amazing. This went live about an hour ago. Everybody, you're off camera, so don't worry about that. So we've got the singer just went live on Bring a Trailer an hour ago. It's already up to $750,000, which is not going to buy it, I don't think, but it's getting close. They stole one of my videos.
Is that Isaac?
Right down here. Look at that. Look at me. I look like an idiot, but that gets me clicks.
Where are you, Isaac?
And
Marcus is very old Isaac. Just
what you got? Isaac's on.
Isaac's
He's watching us.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, he's
What's up, Isaac?
texting us.
Yeah.
that's that
All right.
hardly
Yeah.
23. That's Isaac.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
he kind of hit
Look at
on me
that.
on
Yeah.
the second, but then he called me old
All
at the
right.
same
Well,
time.
yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
So we're getting some great comments. Somebody needs $1 million loan. What else we got? We got people. Somebody got flagged as non-constructive. Yep. Sorry about that, buddy. The pre-chipped hood. No. It's got a full body clear mask installed over the whole car. They do that at Singer, so hood should be nice and clean. 2 dozen eggs for a even swap. They sound delicious. Jeff, yes, we've had the car for 4 months. That's why we put it up on Bring a Trailer. We think somebody needs to see it and they don't know about us. So hopefully they're watching our show now and can learn a little bit about us and the car. But anyway, let's pop over to Justin. We'll see if he's got the car now. All right, I'm going to bring that back in. All right, Justin, we got you on camera. You're opening the car door. So I don't know. I love this thing. I got to drive it. I have a little driving video that I don't think really counts as a driving video, so I'm going to volunteer to go do that again. But antique tan is the interior color. I think it's really stunning in person. The smell coming out of the interior is just like leather and classic Porsche and oil and gasoline. It's awesome. Momo Prototipo steering wheel. That's super sharp. Got the cage in back. I want to say I read something that said these are like as quick as a 991.1 GT3 at Laguna Seca.
They're fun to drive.
That's wild.
That's pretty impressive given the, I guess, quote unquote, dated technology
Oh
and
yeah,
suspension
I
setup
know.
that
It
they have.
tells you a little bit about what like lightweight can do, right? But yeah, the car is nuts. 4-liter motor done by Ed Pink Racing. I think they quote him at 390 horsepower.
Yeah, right around there. It's
that
just
that
under
feels right to
400.
me. Justin's showing it off right now. They do this awesome like leather weave on the inside of the engine bay. I don't know if it's the heat shielding or
The
sound
engine
deadening.
compartment
Yeah,
insulation. Yeah, it's
really, really cool. I love the intake too. Man, I'm just staring at it. Sorry. One of Singer's thing is just attention to detail. I think that's just exactly it. Like everything's important. So you look at every single piece, and they've touched every single piece of the car, from the hood to the fenders to the doors. The trim is all done nickel plated rather than being brushed stainless or chrome. It's kind of a little warmer finish, which I think is really sharp. Beautiful finishes under the hood. You got the center gas fill right there. How would you guys pop the hood to fill it, or would you
Yes.
fill it with the hood closed?
Oh,
hood
pop
open.
the hood.
Hood
Really?
open.
Hood
With
open.
Plenty of protective mats around.
Yeah. I'm thinking fender covering because it's leather all on the inside.
Rob Dickinson signed under the hood when he was here for one of our Singer parties. So
Oh, that's cool.
now you know it's real. That's a signature of authenticity.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I don't know.
That not every singer
yeah.
has.
It's true. He doesn't sign them all. They probably everybody that bought one probably knows them.
I mean,
So, but I think that's really cool. Ooh, look, we got a little smuggler's box with a battery and that windshield washer fluid hiding under there. I just love, to me, some of the coolest hot rods are the ones where like you open the engine bay and you just see an engine and you
Yeah,
don't
it's
understand where is all the stuff. Like
Where's the wiring?
Yeah,
where's power steering?
all of that. And I think that's what Singer really does. Hey, Justin, we can see you in the reflection.
well, one thing that's always gotten me about Singer and, Porsche and then Singer, right? So Porsche, you go to their website and you customize a car, you can do anything you want, right? There's
Yeah.
so many options compared to other manufacturers. And then you get to Singer, where it's anything you want, right? To the smallest of details. You can do absolutely anything to that car and you create it.
Yeah, and I love that they kind of, I think we've done 12 now with clients. They're going to produce 399 of these and then they're done. They're all spoken for. So if you want one, this is kind of your shot. I'm sure some more will come, but they're not making any more. You can't get back on the list. So that's pretty fun. But the fact that they're able to like help you design it, right?
Right.
You get carte blanche, you get to pick whatever you want, but you're there with somebody that's helping you design your child and says, well, that's cool, but what if you tried this? And
Right.
it just ends up being something that's pretty special. So
Well, and like one of our customers that, ordered one, was sitting in his house with just strips of leather,
Yeah. I
trying
got the pleasure to drive.
yeah,
trying to make out a design for the seat that he wanted.
Yeah,
right.
it's
He's
crazy.
just sitting there, just folding it in different combinations to
Yep.
figure out what he wanted, and then they made it.
yep.
Tatooine.
Oop, somebody says the Singer's going to be their first Porsche, so he better bid quick. Really excited to kind of see how this goes. Get into the conversation with everybody on Bring a Trailer. Justin's coming back. We'll get everybody else back on camera. I guess he's showing the rest of our showroom. That's our 993 GT2 full factory built race car. We got the 997 that's been sitting behind us. Now you guys get to see the front. Speedster, GT3 RS, all the fun stuff over that way. And here comes Justin. So we'll get everybody else back on camera. I don't know. Thanks to anybody that's watching live from the Bring a Trailer site. We're back. If you have questions on any of it, we're all available. Feel free to reach out. We can, if you twist my arm, maybe I'll go do a driving video, except that it just snowed.
And you're available 24/7, correct?
Yeah. If you go, I'm not going to give my number out here, but 719-219-5044. Ask for John.
Ask for John.
That's Nancy's number. But yeah, just excited to see that thing find a new home. I think it needs to go out and be driven more. The first owner just loved it and hadn't had his time with it, but
Yeah.
it's time for somebody to double that up again and
Well, I think
maybe
it's awesome.
then some.
It has over 2,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
And so many that I see go up for sale somewhere, 80 miles, 90 miles, 120 miles. You're like, what?
There's other cars that we have that don't have that many miles.
Oh, yeah.
That are
Yeah.
not singers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do you wait 3 to 5 years, for this thing to be made for
me.
you
Yeah.
and you don't go experience it, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
It's
whatever.
not just a commissioned artwork.
Right.
It should be driven. It's a car.
Absolutely.
So, well, while you were showing the car, we got another bid.
Excellent.
Yep. 777-777.
There you
Lucky
go.
number.
Yep.
It's a good
We're,
one.
we're getting
All right.
closer.
Yeah.
What else? Do you guys have anything you want to get off your chests? Do you need to have another beer? Should we put a pause
Billy
on
likes
this?
to talk, so go for it.
Yeah.
I would.
You like to talk.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, talking's fun, right?
Kind of like my wife, just a little.
Well, now we know she's
She's not
the
watching, so it's all
That's
good.
We're gonna make her watch.
we
now.
can clip that.
Yeah.
What would you guys do if you were going to do a singer? How would you spec it?
Oh
Would you do this one, or would you go for the new turbo project, or a DLS?
no, I'd go with that one.
Yeah.
I would
That
do a
one.
mix.
I think that's what gets me about the Singer is in the classics in general, right?
Uh-huh.
You're driving something that is significantly less horsepower than the new cars, but you still get that amazing Porsche feel to it. And I would still like that if I was going to have that car. I could have my new turbos that are fast and everything like that, but with that car, I'd want it to be the.
It's still 400 horsepower and 2,700 pounds.
Oh, there's no doubt that it's no slouch.
So, what's a 993 turbo?
Those are heavy.
32, 3,400
Yeah,
pounds,
3,300
somewhere in there.
pounds.
Yeah, so
400 horsepower.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Because that's I remember watching or reading car magazines, and that thing I think did like a 3.9
Right.
or a 3.6
Right.
0 to 60 is what it was clocked in the day.
And in today's times,
Yeah.
that is still fast.
That's still pretty fast.
When you have numbers being thrown out there like less than 2 seconds,
Yeah.
that's incredible. But
Under
Yeah.
under 4 is still
Yeah,
fast for
that's
today's
wild.
cars.
And
back in the
now this thing will do it naturally aspirated.
Right.
Yeah. In a 1990 chassis.
Yeah, man.
Right.
There's a reason. There's a reason that's the one. I was talking to a guy earlier that said he liked the Gunther Works better, and I don't agree.
To each their own.
Yeah, I mean, those are pretty awesome cars too. I'm sure they're amazing. They're based on the 993 platform. Similar concept, I think, but not the same. I think they're doing more of their own thing.
Right.
Whereas Singer to me is more just doing a tribute to the classics.
That's the way I've always heard it is Gunther Works kind of goes further than just Porsche.
Yeah.
And they kind of build the car that they want, where Singer is just
They kind of fine tune it.
give you the Porsche that you always wanted, right? It's still Porsche down. It's just been redone. It's reimagined, right?
Yeah.
It's just been redone.
Yep. So, well, colors. What would you pick?
Red.
What kind of red?
Oh, I mean, Guards Red is probably one of my most favorite colors in a sports car, right? One of our 911s in Guards Red, that's hard to beat. It doesn't matter which car. That's just an amazing color.
Okay. Well, too bad you can't build one. They're all sold out. Andrew, what would you build if you could, but you
Yeah,
can't?
the sold out reason.
Yeah.
That's the reason
That-
I don't have one.
Sure.
The DLS, what is it, dynamic lightweight study?
Yeah.
is a really interesting car.
Yes.
I think either one of the many iterations of black or like carmine red. One of the deeper blues is
Okay.
always like Tatooine.
Yeah, Tatooine.
Is a beautiful car. I think it would have to be something like that, and the DLS is just super interesting.
Yeah. It did the GT4 RS intakes before the GT4 RS,
Yeah.
where they put it in the kind of the rear window behind you.
Quarter
So
glass. Yeah.
that's got to
Right.
sound awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
That just looks like such an interesting car. Yeah.
Me now?
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Andrew on that one, or I would do like a pastel white in a way. Kinda
Oh
like
wow.
flat
Okay.
white.
Mm-hmm.
It would be-
Pastel white.
Well, not pastel white, like a
white.
flat white.
Okay.
Okay. Mhm.
Like,
Look good.
like an
That's
off
cool.
white or like a matte
Like a
white.
flat white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like white,
white.
just matte, maybe.
So like,
Just not glossy
like
white.
this,
Not
yeah.
glossy
yes,
white.
you would do
Like,
Like,
white or like
White. I mean, there's
white?
400 different whites.
Porsche cabinet white.
like
Done in an egg.
an
shell.
ivory white.
That
Yeah.
would look good.
Okay. Ivory could, yeah.
Ivory
'cause-
would look good.
We have a GT2 RS that comes in for service that's a paint to sample white color. You know which car I'm talking about?
Going with like 72 miles.
Probably, but it's
Oh.
I don't remember the name of the color, but it is a paint to sample
Yep.
color for that car.
Was the 918 was Oryx white?
Yeah, and that might be what I'm
Oh,
thinking
I know-
of as
I know
far as
which
the
one you're
GT2
talking
RS.
about.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that car, when if you were just walking past it, your first initial reaction is like, GT2 RS. But then when you notice it, it's kind of like, whoa. I mean, it just has this cool glow about it. It just,
Yeah.
which is different, than on the 918. Just when you put it on that 911 body, it just does. It has this. It's almost it's more than a glow. It's like an aura.
It's like a
Right.
pearlescent.
Yeah.
It's just it's really neat. I mean, it's really neat. I wouldn't think of that personally when I'm building a car, but seeing it in person, like, oh my gosh, it's pretty stunning.
If you were going to spend that amount of money on a car, would you do paint simple to make it yours? To make it something different? Or would you
On a
pick one?
Singer? Or on.
Any of our cars that are, that pricey.
Well, I think the hard part is when you get tapped to do it, you kind of just have to say yes. And maybe you can do paint a sample and maybe you can't.
Is that not always a choice?
No.
Okay.
The way I look at it is this is not how it really works, but this is my impression of how it really works. Is there's a guy in Germany with a whiteboard, and when you order a paint to sample car, he writes down your car and your color, and then when the board is full, he stops writing and he starts painting, and when he's done painting a car, he erases, and then he erases, and he has to clear the whole board. And then he starts again and he fills the board and then he paints and it turns on and it turns off and they have availability and then they don't and then they do and then they don't. So it's not, you gotta time it right. And sometimes it's at the beginning of the run and sometimes it's at the end and you never know. So
Right.
if I had my choice, absolutely. Yeah, I would do
Well, can you put in the order and just hold off until they're going to do paint sample?
no.
It's you get what you get.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. There's a production schedule that Porsche has, and so there's a little bit of flexibility where we can try to move cars up a little bit or move cars back a little bit, is my understanding. But it's not like, they
And do
they have
you
to
know
build
when
them.
that time is going to come? That time frame that they're going to accept paint sample?
Nope.
No.
Is it not like
Either
hey,
they-
the first
yeah.
this many orders get it?
Yeah.
or-
No. We don't know.
So what's the classification for paint to sample? Because if like you can get a 20, not to say this is the case, but if you can get a 2023 Macan and Carmine Red, can you, if you have the opportunity to get your latest, limited car, if that's a listed color for any of the Porsche cars, is that no longer paint to sample? Or if it's not offered on the 911 platform, is that now paint to sample?
That one.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, and what
'Cause
is
that-
the one that's
that has happened.
Step
Okay.
above
Like
paint to
many times. I think in that exact scenario where they offer a color in one of the models and not the other.
Yep.
And you think like, well, what the crap? It all goes to the same paint booth, right? No. They
Okay.
don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And they do have paint to sample plus, I think, is basically what they call it, where you can send in that shirt and tell them.
That's what I
that.
think of when I think paint to sample. I think of me taking some to Home Depot and then
Yep.
give me this color, right?
Right.
But then I learned Porsche's paint to sample is like, hey, choose from.
Yeah, because they have a list on PPN of what is paint to sample, what are
Right.
their color codes, what you can
Yeah.
choose from. So it's still a limited list, but
And then there is like what John's talking about is that it's always been there, but now it's just more published where it's beyond that. Where you can send them your favorite stuffed animal from when you were 4 years old and say I want it to be this purple color, and they do their feasibility checks and all this kind of stuff to say can we make it first of all, and if we can, then what does it cost us? So let's just for round numbers, let's say paint to sample is a $15,000 option. If you want to go beyond that, that's another roughly $15,000 just to find out if they can do it or not. So you might sign up and say, I want you to make it the color of this purple teddy bear. And they'll say, okay, for 15 grand, we're going to find out, and then tell you no.
Oh, geez.
Interesting. Okay.
Right.
So
It's a huge process.
what is, because I see this sometimes on, door seals, exclusive,
Right.
and what it takes to make a car an exclusive car.
Exclusive manufacturer.
Yes.
So there are door sills that we see that are by exclusive manufacturer. Those are the cars that they actually design. Like there's a person or people at Porsche Cars North America say that they're actually allocated so many cars per year or every couple of years, something. They get to do their tricks with it. And
Interesting.
the idea is to highlight, some certain features or might be some, artistic abilities, that they can do in the custom tailoring shops. But those people at PCNA get to spec out, let's say, 25 cars, something like that. And then those are the sill plates that are, by Porsche exclusive. But then there's like the custom, the custom tailored ones where what we have the purple GT, or we had, I guess. I don't know if it still comes in. The purple GT3 RS that says ultra violent, is what it says on the door sill. Our landscapers, right? They're
yes.
Cayenne Turbo
Big Daddy,
S that we had.
Little Mama.
Yeah, well, it was
Little
big.
Lassie,
It was Big
yep.
Poppy.
Oh, yeah.
It was Big Poppy was on one side, and Young Lassie,
Yep.
or Laddie, Young Laddie on the driver's door, and Big Poppy was on the passenger door. And the backstory behind that is Don, like our main owner guy, for people, in the organization, he refers to a lot of people as Young Laddie, right? Oh, Young Laddie. So anyway, so Joe, without telling anyone, had that put in the driver's door, right, of this Cayenne Turbo S when he was ordering it, because the Cayenne Turbo S was for one of Don's business partners in Denver, who was younger than Don. But anyway, and then so the passenger side, that's Big Poppy, right? That's Don.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but we had to change those out because our landscapers that bought that car as a pre-owned vehicle, they're a little older. And so the way that it looked when you opened the door was Young Lady, right? In Big Boppy or whatever it
Big
was.
Daddy.
Big Daddy, yeah, something like that. And but the guy was so funny. He says, I can't open the door to my car and have it say Young Lady at me. So anyway, those were removed and put the Turbo S ones in. So that is an option, to have your own custom tailored door sills. So people put business logos. I like the GT2 RS that we had that had the
red
ring.
one.
Well, we had a yellow one that had the ring and then the Nürburgring
Yep.
and then the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I think that was an
Yeah.
option though to have that done.
I think they got the time wrong.
They did get the time.
Oh,
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
get the time wrong.
Like, I don't know, was it like 647.2 and they
Right.
did 642.7?
oh.
They're just a little quicker.
Fix 'em.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't the red one have
Red one had some. I don't
Did
remember.
it say
what
King
said.
Kong?
King Kong?
Oh no,
That was a gray.
That
one.
was the gray one.
That was a
Yeah.
gray one.
Oh, that's that other gray one.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I thought the red one had something.
Isn't it fun? There are so many. that
I know.
There is.
You're never gonna
There is.
know.
which one's which.
The King Kong one's cool.
Yeah.
That's also on a 2RS.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, we've had to replace them because of the whatever they say.
Yeah. Becomes incredibly specific at that point, to the point where you may have to.
Yeah, but it's cool that you can do that, right?
Right.
You can request.
Well,
you
my
know,
buddy sent me a picture. He works in Las Vegas, and he had a 992 Turbo S come in, and it said Van Halen on the side. And it had their like album logo, with the V that in the H that had, and it was Eddie Van Halen's car.
Oh wow! Oh
Yeah.
wow! That's pretty wild.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'd keep those.
Yeah.
I'd keep those door
100%.
sills.
100%.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's pretty wild. I guess I have seen business logos.
I've seen
You know, done
Delta Airlines puts theirs on because they're a Porsche.
Right. That's right. Yeah, you can do that, especially out in Atlanta. You can sign up to instead of going from security through the terminal and all that stuff, is you can actually do some option, and you hop in a Cayenne and they take you directly to the plane.
I think that's they're million milers.
No,
But Delta Airlines is a Porsche. That's what they drive. All their taxi cars are Cayennes. All their executives, they drive 911s, and they all have that Delta Airlines seal in them.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's it's cool. I mean, limitless possibilities, I guess. Can everybody hear this right now?
Nope.
No.
I'm just making sure. Just making sure I had the right song.
What time are we at?
It's time.
Oh my God,
We're all
I've
done.
already been there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
holy
4
moly.
words.
Yep.
It goes by pretty quick.
It does.
Like having fun.
Yeah, do you guys have anything you want to close out with?
I don't think
Billy?
so.
Billy.
Billy?
Yeah, well,
Why do
Billy
we
made
skip
it through
the
the show
first
without spilling anything.
I
That's
know.
good.
He knocked some shit over.
He was
pretty early.
close.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I knocked my water bottle over.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
the
good.
open container.
Good. Well, I guess, no, thank you again, guys, for joining us on the show. I know how hard it is to get together all at one time. But anyway, I guess for the First Dibs podcast, I'm Justin Underwood.
I'm John Dicey.
We have
And,
Marcus.
Marcus Fast.
Andrew?
Billy?
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, viewers.
Thanks, everybody.
and listeners.
Have a good night.
We'll talk to you soon.